On the record, yeah.
Do you anticipate making any changes to your team this week?
No, we don't. Just be unchanged.
Impossible to change a lineup that did so well? Is that the thinking?
Oh no, not impossible, but yeah, we're really we're pleased with the outcome of last week. But that was last week, so we look to improve every chance we get. But we've got a couple of people that are obviously pretty obvious to everyone. That's Ollie, who's not ready to play this week, and Hamish is on his way back, and then Dougal Howard's playing in the SANFL. If I try and go through them all, I'll miss someone. But no, we're really happy with the team that took the park last week.
I'll throw one more out there if we're doing individuals. Brogsy, is he going to play any football?
Yeah, he'll play Magpies. Yeah. All things being equal today, and they play tomorrow night, so hopefully he gets there tomorrow night.
That sort of sets up a pretty big, maybe round 3 and round 4 selection for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll worry about round 2, unfortunately, and that's what I have to worry about, so we'll worry about that then.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, keep going. You're doing well.
Rolling. Well, you've had a week to sit on. You've had a week to sit on what we all thought probably went exactly to plan. Ken, were there things that you weren't pleased with out of last weekend that you have had to iron out?
Oh no, I think we were. Well, obviously we had a really big match. Round 1, they're obviously always big, but we had Melbourne at MCG, really good team. We had to go there and get the result that we did. We're quite pleased with that, but unfortunately for us, it's round 2 nearly. So it was a good outcome on that day.
Can you just give us a couple of words on what sort of impact Justin Westhoff has had in?
Oh God!
I mean, you can go for as long as you want, really, can't you?
Well, I could do it like Westy do it, and that would be say very little, because that says a lot about him. He's just a great, he's a fantastic player. That's football club. Every player that's played with him over the whole journey, not just currently, there would not be one person who would say anything bad about the man, and other than all he does is give everything he gives is all for the team. He's an absolute ultimate team man.
During the week he said there is smouldering belief that this group can do something big. You share that?
Oh, I think every group would think that. I think that's involved in AFL football. They all believe in themselves, and that's what they do. They're pretty strong in their beliefs. They train and they work hard to give themselves a great opportunity to be, as I said before, you're asked the wrong people when you ask about belief, because we always have belief.
Is there belief that the group's good, or is there belief that there's something significant? Because Westy was sort of alluding to doing some damage late in the season. And
again, I'd say the same response is that they'll always believe that, and they should always believe that. And if they don't believe that, we perhaps shouldn't be here collectively as a group. So we all always believe that we're capable.
Ken, with Ollie, is expected back next week?
Yeah, we would think so, Andrew. But we're be very careful. It's a long season. We won't push it if he's not ready.
Now, Hamish Hartnett, I saw him play last week. He was pretty good, 19 touches and a handful of marks. He'll play in the SANFL tomorrow night against Westies. Yeah,
he'll play in the SANFL. Yeah, he goes back to his home ground and has a game. But he's a significant way down the path now to be just about returning. So that will be really exciting for us too.
So he pulled up well and has shown that during the weekend. If he plays well tomorrow, how strong are we considering for AFL action next week?
Again, without putting a time frame, it's really hard. But we expect Hamish will get back in the AFL side very quickly. He's our vice captain, so it's just a matter of making sure he's right. He's off a 12-month injury.
Ken, what did round 1 do to reinforce, particularly for the younger guys, the newer game style and the change up? What did that result do to sort of reinforce the whole club that it's working and it went to play?
Yeah, I think it's pleasing for them because they've had a significant impact into the way we want to play in 2019, and they get some confirmation. They know that they could have done things better. They know that they'll have to do things better as the season goes, but it certainly gives them some confirmation that we're on the right path.
What did you make of Goodwin's suggestion that the treatment of Max Gawn was sometimes outside of the rules?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was pretty clear. There was one free kick paid, and I think Tommy Jones got a fine for it. Outside that, I don't think there's anything to it. I think it's been blown up a fair bit myself. If you look at the game, if you look at that and think that we individualised or went after anyone, particularly in a hard way, I'd expect our players to go after the other 21 players equally as hard. But yeah, we understood that Max was a significant player for them, so we won't deny the fact that we talked about it, but I don't think it was over the top.
Ken, every game in the AFL is a danger game these days. It's such an even competition. But how important, like psychologically, for your boys to back up against Carlton at home what they did against Melbourne last week?
Yeah, well, it's important regardless of it, but as you say, it's round 2 for us. We're at home for the first time this year. We'd like to put on a good performance, but I'm sure Carlton are thinking the same thing. So, it'll come down to us being as ready as we can possibly be and knowing that the challenge is going to be big.
And Don Pike spoke yesterday about the possibility of the Crows taking a player mid-season draft with Tom Duday out for the year. Obviously, Jake Patmore's already opened up a spot on your list. How strong do you consider that?
Again, look, I'm in round 2 mode, Andrew, I'm sorry, but we got great people who take care of that side of the club, you know, and Jason Cripps and Jeff Parker and Chris Davies, they'll take care of that stuff when the time comes.
Ken, such an emotional high last week, as you said post-game, and Bass said on Monday. Have you had to do anything with the players this week to let them all take a breath and say, bro, you have to do it again and again? Yeah,
well, we're probably about to do that as much as anything when I chat with the boys this afternoon, but you know, up until yesterday was their day off, we've allowed them, and as they should be in this game, is to enjoy your victory, and they've been allowed to enjoy their victory. They trained well Tuesday, so I'm pretty comfortable and confident that they know that was round 1.
Yeah,
Ken,
manage it.
Does Ryder do more? Is he able to do more now a week on? Is he able to do more ruck work, or are you still managing that? Or is
no, he's fine.
At the point where he's making you think maybe Ryder should play more as a forward than a ruckman?
No, that's exactly what we think anyhow, Rich. We wouldn't hide from that. We think Paddy will play a lot more forward than probably Scotty as the season unfolds, and that was the reason we got Scotty here, was to allow Paddy to do a bit more of that. So he's right to play full minutes wherever we need him right now, so it's not an issue with his small injury there.
Is he still wearing the helmet?
Yeah, he will. He'll wear for another couple of weeks to be, I think, as much as need for Paddy to be feeling comfortable in it.
What would you do if one of your players was subjected to the Max Gawn type of treatment? Like, is there a strategy around dealing with that sort of physicality?
No, I think, as I said, I don't think there was much in it myself. I think our players have just got to go back to work and do what they've got to do. They get treatment like that week in, week out.
So how do you deal with it? How do other players contribute to help, say, Paddy or Scott deal with that sort of stuff?
You play as a team. That's exactly what we'd expect of everything that we get involved with. So stick together.
Like physically get in the way, and are there things that you would say to them to do?
No, I'd tell them to win the football. That's what I'd tell them to do, and get about winning the ball and try and put some score on the board.
Do you replicate that this week against Carlton's most damaging player, who's Patrick Cripps?
No, well, I'm really cautious how I answer this, because I don't think we went over the top in trying to identify anything in that space too greatly. But we go out there this week against the 22 Carlton players, and we're going to try and put a lot of pressure on all of them as best we possibly can. And that's where we'll start, and that's where we'll stop. All of them are important.
He's a bit delighted the selection squeeze at the moment. Obviously hard to putting pressure on Wines to come back, and other players in the sample that played quite nicely last week. That would be a great thing for you as coach, I guess.
Yeah, it always very good when you've got plenty of players available, and you know, they're desperate to play, and that's really important for any football club, I think, to have you know, strong performance pressure is the best pressure we get.
What were your numbers play on from marks in that game
last week?
Yeah,
pretty high.
Compared to last year.
They're significantly high. Yeah, significantly high, and that's I think round 1 tends to throw that up a little bit too. But I think we'll, you know, there's no doubt we'll be higher from playing from marks. We haven't made any secret of the fact that we're going to move the ball quicker and be a bit more bold with our ball movement. So you should expect that to stay somewhere similar.
And when you looked at it, were they doing it always the way you wanted them to do it, or is it going to be still a bit of adjustment on that one?
No, I think there's still some room for improvement, no doubt. Some of our ball movement was times looked a bit rushed at times, looked a bit over the top with some use. So, but we're in round 1, we're getting better.
Do you expect scoring across the competition to increase?
I'm not sure, because I thought it would have been round 1, but the scoring was obviously down. But you know, our game was capable of a bit more score with some of our finish. I think there's no doubt about that. But I'm pretty big on the rules. Have made a significant change, and it should open the game up. But the game, once the season gets going for a period of time, perhaps makes it a bit harder to grind out. But my belief is that scoring will be up slightly.
So what did the kick-ins do? The number score on kick-ins.
Yeah, it's not too much going on with kick-ins. Kick-ins are, look, if you look at the rules and what they try to achieve with kick-ins, I think they wanted to get the ball a little bit more into the fattest part of the ground, and I think that's what it's doing. Gives both teams an opportunity to score both ways. So I don't think there's going to be significant scoring from kick-ins. I think centre bounce is the significant scorer.
Back on the going quick, playing on from marks, how do you draw a line for your players between doing it right and being, you know, kamikaze football?
We give them a simple instruction: play what you see. And that's too hard to give them absolute rules to go out there and say, do it this time, don't do it that time. We've got to trust them, and we do trust them to make those decisions on the fly, and they have to make those decisions week in, week out.
Is it difficult to drill that into them in the off season?
No, I think that's what we've done like really well in our training. We've given them some restraints, and we've given them some things, some tasks to work with, and we said, now you've got to play with those, because that's what the game does. We don't know exactly what they're always going to be, so we've given them a lot of opportunity to practice that, we think, through pre-season.
Did you find that challenging, Kevin? The players came to you saying they wanted to play a different game?
No, not at all. No. And the conversation, let's be rich. The conversation was along the lines, hey boys, we're going to play footy this year. How do we want to play? What do you enjoy playing football like? I know how I like to watch you play football. Let's have a little chat around what that looks like, and you know, we're all end up on the same page. Finally, we want to play fast and score heavy. It's a pretty good page to be on.
Rockcliffe, is he back?
Pig.
Pig thinks he's back.
They call him the pig.
I think the pig thinks he's back. Yeah, it's great to have Tom. I mean, he's back-to-back 40 possession games, whether it be a JLT in round one. It's exciting, and we've made no secret that Tom had some interruptions through last year. He's now really in a good space and fit, and obviously we're a good team when he's playing really well.
Is that a different role though? It's not a role that we've seen a lot of Port Adelaide players play, so like where they can be really prolific consistently. Is there a different role for him to play?
I think that's game style, to be honest, Max. I think that's as much about the game style. We're using the ball a little bit sharper and a bit faster. That allows a little bit more possession.
And you must be really pleased. I'm not sure if you asked after the game, was it with Jack Watts' performance and how open and emotional he was post game as well.
Yeah, no, I think it goes unsaid a little bit. There's a lot of stories in our team last week. There was a lot of them. Jack was one of them. Robbie was one of them. There was 6 debutants. There was a lot. Tommy Jonas was first game. So there was a lot of stories. It was a really good story, and I can understand Moons going to Jack at the MCG against Melbourne after a big win. But I think he was one of the stories. I was pleased for a lot of them on that day, not just Jack on his own.
For you as a coach, though, there's a lot of those stories that prompted responses. Positive, big win. You have to then settle people down and say, okay, but we've got to repeat it. We've got to repeat it. We've got to
yeah, well, we do, and they understand that too. We understand that round two's a massively big game for us at home, first game for the season at home. So it's funny, you don't have to spend too much time talking to players about those sorts of things because they absolutely understand them better than anyone. They know that the next week's opposition are coming to win.
Can you across Koshy's comments from this morning?
No, I'm not.
Basically, he said that the times that you're making all the off-season changes, he had a lot of doubts in his mind, and was wary that if they didn't go right, you'd be the laughing stock in his words. You sort of reflect on that.
No, I really can't because I don't in contents. I don't know what was actually said and not said. But I'm sure David knows and was of the opinion that we've made some really brave and courageous decisions through the off-season. That we've still got a long way to go to make sure that they look like they've been good decisions.
How long's a piece of string with the first year players? And you did, with Wines you played him all through, but Power Pepper you couldn't.
Yeah, I think Power Pepper may have missed 1 or 2.
Yeah. What's it like with these 3?
No, we don't. I mean, you sort of don't know. So that's what you said about the piece of string, which you don't know how long they go. I expect they can go all year. That's my first thought is that they'll play all year. I just know in year 1 when Ollie played 1 game as sub, remember the green vest? We put him in the green vest one day to give him a rest, and he had 16 touches in a quarter. So as much as we thought he was getting tired, I think we sometimes talk them into being tired or looking like their first year players. I've never been like that. I've always said, you're fit, you're playing. Unless your form's dropping off, I'm not going to worry about how old you are.
Thanks, Ken.
Good on you.
Cheers, Kenny.